Hi, this is Sal Tuzzolino, host and ringmaster of the Sports Circus, the big top of sports talk radio. Did you hear this?
Hey, Sal, I'm sitting on my elephant stop here on your circus, man.
Nice. Nice. Get off my elephant.
Hey, they were just over next to the Tigers. They had the fire rings, but I just thought I'd just jump on the elephant and come on in.
Clown around with us and stream the show online at thesportcircus.com. Join me, the human cannibal, Sideshow Bob, and Super Bowl champion defensive back from the San Francisco 49ers, Toy Cook, this Saturday morning at 6 on Fox Sports Radio 1340. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Sports Circus Friday edition. Saturday mornings, we have our regular show on Fox Sports Radio 1340, and you could tune in, of course, if you're in the local market at AM 1340, or you can stream it online at thesportcircus.com. Today's show is brought to you by the American Business Trust Company, specializing in helping new companies with investment capital, growth, strategic planning, and marketing and sales initiatives. You can reach them at 657 area code 600-1876, or you could check out abtrustco, abtrustco.com. Check them out. Great people. They've been doing it for 20-odd years. They've helped a lot of companies go from idea or concept to acquisition. They certainly know what they're doing. So, today, we have some really sad news for the city of San Diego, losing the San Diego Chargers to LA. Actually, they didn't really lose them. I think the fact that the Chargers really are going home, because they started off as the LA Superchargers back, about 55 years ago. And honestly, this is a team that wasn't really drawing too much in San Diego. Are they going to draw a lot of people in Los Angeles? Well, that remains to be seen, of course. But the one thing I'll say is that the Chargers had a pretty good history in San Diego. They didn't really they didn't win a Super Bowl. They did get there against the 49ers. But the Chargers have a lot of very important pieces of the puzzle, and they're bringing that to the LA market, which has the Rams right now. And the Rams, of course, relocated last year back from St. Louis after a 22-year hiatus. And the Rams are very far away from winning a lot of games. In fact, the Rams are so far away that they hired the youngest guy that the NFL has seen as a coach since the 1930s. That would be 30-year-old Sean McVay, and 30-year-old Sean McVay was the offensive coordinator for the Washington Redskins. And Sean did a really good job. He started off as the tight end coach back around 2010. He basically been around football his whole life, but he's had some experience for the last 6 years. And over the last 3 years, he's brought the Washington offense from ranked 25th in the league all the way to ranked number 3 and number 2 in passing. So this is a guy offensively that could get the ball, that can actually get the team moving in the right direction. Can they do anything on the defensive side? They brought in Wade Phillips as their defensive coordinator. Not really sure what I think about that. Wade's bounced around a lot. He's had some success, but he's had spotty success. And I think really what the Rams are doing is they basically got themselves a 2-year window to fill on their coaching for when the new stadium comes together, and that would be the 19 season. I believe that the coach is going to be Nick Saban. There's been some talk about that amongst some people in the NFL. I'm not really sure if there's any truth to that, but the sources that I get my information from are highly credible. But Nick Saban is at the top of the list, unlike everybody else has been talking about John Gruden. I don't think John Gruden wants to come out of the booth. I think he's having too much fun on Monday Night Football. He's close enough to the game. He can input in the game, but what he doesn't have to do is deal with the stomach aches and the ulcers and garbage like that from pacing up and down the sideline and dealing with 11 guys on the field at one time trying to figure out who's on first, what's on second, is everybody doing it right? So I don't think Gruden's really the guy for the LA Rams. I think he's a great fit. Frankly, I'd love to see Pete Carroll come back to the LA market, but the way Carroll is having a lot of success up in Seattle, I can't see it. You know, I have Seattle winning the Super Bowl this year. Hell, I called that 10 weeks ago. 10 weeks ago, I had the Packers winning out 7 weeks ago, which they've done, and they've even won their first playoff game. That's the only game that I had wrong all of last week on last week's show. Out of all the games that I picked with the overs and unders, I won 6 out of 7. Right there. 6 out of 7. Pow. And guess what happens? You bet them. You're at the sports book. You're collecting. Here's your ticket. Thank you. Here's your payment. Boom. So that is Sell the Bookmaker, and I think you could see that right along my name right about here. I'm not really sure. But anyway, what I will tell you, going back to the LA Rams, I think the Rams, first of all, made a really bad decision when they picked Jared Goff over Carson Wentz. And I had said this back in September, actually back in August. Carson Wentz was a +2 over Jared Goff. This guy was ready with the pro-style game right out the gate, despite his lack of playing in his senior year. This kid was ready. The Rams made a huge mistake. They should have taken him. You could build a team around him, put a nice big line in front of him. And this kid, even with a mediocre line in Philadelphia, he showed a lot of flashes of greatness. Clearly was worthy of a number 1 pick. Not really sure how the Rams dropped the ball on that one, but then again, it's the Rams. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes they don't. I can't blame the past personnel because the past personnel for the Rams, as far as the players go, great people, good business people, but unfortunately, the current management that, well, let's face it, the management that did the draft, etc., I don't believe that they did a good enough job to help a team back into the number 2 market, come home, back into LA where there's 10 million people watching these games. I can't imagine why they would make the moves they made. I'm not that close to the organization. I don't know. But the one thing I can say is now the Rams are going to have one hell of a time fighting for an audience in LA now that the Chargers have come back to LA as well, just after a 55-year hiatus instead of 22 like the Rams. The Chargers are coming back with a lot of key pieces. They've got a very accomplished quarterback. They've got great receivers. They've got a good running game. They lack on defense terribly, and we know where they're going to spend their time. Certainly in the draft and making moves in the offseason, it's going to be to shore up that defensive line and probably that secondary. But this is a team that is capable of scoring 30 to 40 points a game, which they already do, and we've seen that. The problem is the Chargers really only play 58 minutes a game. If they played the last 2 minutes, I think they would have had a hell of a lot more wins than what they did, just a handful. But this is a team that can win immediately, unlike the Rams. The Rams are more of a ball of clay, and it's going to take years to put this ball of clay together. So I'm giving a little bit of love to the Chargers. First of all, they have the best hat in the business, no question. Nothing like that lightning bolt, which I actually have right here, right on the top of their helmet. Now, with the new logo change, I don't know if that's going to appear on the hat, which it would be tragic if they didn't have the lightning bolt on the hat. But then again, it's LA, it's Spanos. Spanos basically sold out the city of San Diego. They said, well, we're going to play a game of chicken with you. If you don't approve this, we're out of here. So who was the big winner there? Everybody says, all the media says, I was reading it earlier on NBC and on Fox and CBS. They all said, well, the city of San Diego won because the Chargers left. I don't really believe that because as a revenue driver and as a professional sports team, what do they have left? You have the Padres and they're perennial cellar dwellers. They've got a really good AAA system with the El Paso Chihuahuas, and a lot of talent there. The problem is the Padres, as I'm digressing here, but the Padres move their talent. They don't keep them. They're getting sort of like the New York Yankees. They'll buy their talent back after a certain amount of time. But anyway, my point was the city of San Diego has a problem now because you really have one team there. You can't count the San Diego Gulls as a farm team, a minor league hockey team for the Anaheim Ducks. The fact is, you got one team. You had somebody to carry you from October when baseball ended all the way into January. And then you had just a couple of months left before spring training and before the Major League Baseball season starts. I don't know. I mean, are the Charger fans going to come up from San Diego? I'm not really sure about that. I mean, let's face it. The Chargers are playing at StubHub Center. That's the home of the LA Galaxy. Now, is StubHub Center going to sell out? I think so. It's only 30,000 seats there. I believe they're going to sell out. But I do believe that the Charger fans are going to have a quandary to deal with. I mean, do we drive up there? Do we support them? We lost our team. But if you're a real lover of the Chargers, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to support your team. Doesn't matter if they're on the East Coast or right up the 5 freeway up in LA. Doesn't matter. Be there, Charger fans. Don't abandon your team. Just because Spanos is a moron and did what he did, let's face it, you still have the team. He isn't the team. He just owns the team. So are you supporting him by supporting the Chargers? Secondarily, yes. But if that's your team and you love the lightning bolt, support your team. honestly, I don't think that the players don't feel good about it, but they don't really have a choice because it's work. It's work. That's where you show up to work. Now you're driving an extra hour and a half north to get to work. Or if you're lazy, you can take an airplane. It's a 12-minute airplane ride. Either way, I think it's the good move for the San Diego Chargers. They're going to get a lot of love in LA. A lot of people are going to support them. And that deal opens up the announcement that, well, it should have been made 6 months ago because the Raiders are coming to Las Vegas. There's no question. The Las Vegas Raiders are coming. Actually, it's called the Vegas Raiders. And there's a reason why they're not called the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll get into that in another segment down the road. But the Vegas Raiders will more than likely have their new stadium built on the site of the Bali High Golf Course just south of the Mandalay Bay on Las Vegas Boulevard next to the airport. Very convenient location. The transportation will be ideal. They'll have monorails going back and forth from the airport to the stadium. It'll connect all the way around the back end of that stadium through the Mandalay Bay, through the Luxor, Excalibur, etc. And you'll see the network. Basically, it's like a raised light rail like you have in Seattle. They have the monorail that runs through the city of Seattle. Well, you're going to see something similar that starts at the airport or ends at the airport, whichever way you look at it. And you're going to have a very convenient, modern setup for the Vegas Raiders. And guess what? As soon as the Vegas Raiders are announced, you heard it here first, you're going to see the LA Clippers become potentially the Vegas Clippers, or they'll probably call them the Las Vegas Clippers. But Adam Silver has already made an announcement that he would like to see the NBA in Las Vegas, so I would look for it. It just seems that that announcement can't be made or it can't be pursued until the Vegas Raiders have been officially announced, which should come. People are saying, well, we have to wait till we get the approval from the owners. Not true, because Mark Davis could do the same thing that his father did, Al Davis, and move the Oakland Raiders to Los Angeles without the approval, a majority approval of the other owners. It doesn't matter because it's an antitrust violation. If the other owners or the league tries to enforce it, they can't enforce it. All it is a formality for the media and people to talk about and say, well, Mark Davis didn't get the approval. And so it creates a big stir for nothing. Ultimately, what you'll see is the Raiders make a move. The Clippers, more than likely, will make the move out here to Las Vegas because there is a large enough audience from Southern California to come to Las Vegas. Remember, 9 out of 10 visitors to Las Vegas come from sunny Southern California. Right up Interstate 15. It's only a few-hour drive, and a lot of those fans are already in the Inland Empire, so it's not that far of a drive in the first place. Nevertheless, that's what's going to happen here. You heard it from Sal the Bookmaker on the Sports Circus, and you can reach us again at thesportcircus.com. Also, you can email us at info@thesportcircus.com. So we'll catch you in just a couple of minutes, and we'll look forward to talking a little bit more about the NFL.